Hi, this is Mark with At My Home, and today we're going to review some products from a company called The Smartest House. They have products called Zooz, kind of a cool name, Z-O-O-Z, and they make both products that are both for in-wall use. These two products here, both a smart dimmer and a smart on-off switch, as well as a plug-in device where you can actually control two outlets. So Zooz nicely provided us with these switches to test. So we're going to do that today, but first I want to talk a little bit about them. So let's take a look. This one here is the S2 on-off switch, and the S2 on-off switch is meant to go in the wall, and as you can see, here's the switch itself. Very nicely done, a metal outside case for heat dissipation, and these little tabs here can be removed if you have more than one switch inside your wall, so that's kind of handy. In the back, they have all the plugging spots where you can go in there and put all the wires and plug them in. Very easy, a nice case with it, really nice unit, well built. We really like this. They also provide a nice set of directions, and normally we don't look at the directions because it's pretty obvious, but Zooz did a really nice job with their instructions. It's one of the things we really like, and it's pretty nice. They give you diagrams so you can look and see what you have and then match it to how to install their switch. Now what's really nice about Zooz is if your picture is not here or you're a little confused and say, hey, you know what, I'm not exactly sure, you can actually email to Zooz and they will send you custom instructions for your installation. So that we think is a pretty unique experience for consumers. So let's take a look at the next switch. So this is an on-off switch. Let me put that here. And now I'm going to open up the S2 dimmer. And the S2 dimmer will allow you to control a dimmer switch. And you'll notice it looks pretty similar to the last one I pulled out of the box. It looks identical actually, except of course, when you press this, you can dim the light on higher or lower. The back of it looks very similar, all the same places to plug in your wires. They even supply the white wire and a nice set of instructions on how to install. Now what's nice about these switches from Zooz is if you put these in a three-way configuration, that's the one where you have more than one switch controlling your lights. You don't have to install an add-on switch. So that both saves you money and it actually makes the installation a lot easier. So we think that's a really nice feature for this switch, and I think you will like it as well. So that's the in-wall version of Zooz. They also provided us with a plug-in version. This is called the Double Plug, and there's a reason why it says Double Plug. Let's take a look. All right, boxes are nicely put together. Take it out, and this is the double plug. All right, this plugs in to your wall outlet, and it comes with a USB port. So if you want to charge your phone or whatever else, you have a USB port, an on-off switch so you can manually control things, and then two ZWave controllable outlets, one on each side, that you can plug things into it and control them independently with ZWave. Most of the plug-in switches that we've seen, when you get them, you can only really control one outlet. This is nice, it lets you control two. So really nice. This unit is ZWave Plus compatible. So ZWave Plus is the latest standard from ZWave. It's faster and more reliable than the previous one. So it's really important to always look for ZWave Plus. That's your latest. The switches themselves from the in-wall, by the way, have the same ZWave Plus technology. So this one here, you can plug into the wall, start it up right away, hook it up to your phone, and you're all set. The other two switches, of course, you have to replace wall switches in your home. So this is what they look like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go install them in a couple of places in our home, and we'll talk a little bit more about them. So now we have installed the Zooz S2 Double Plug. I know that's a lot to say, but this is the S2 Double Plug, recall, USB port, a button to turn the switches on either side if you want manually, or they're controllable from ZWave. So we installed this using Wink, and I won't go through for this one how we installed on Wink. What I just want to talk about is a few things they warn you about using this double plug. They have in the directions, and I've never seen this before in directions, but this one has a very clear set of instructions. Do not use with and okay to use with. And what's interesting is it says no washers and dryers. I think that makes sense. It takes a lot of power. They're motors. They don't really want you using motors. They also don't want you plugging in fans, so things with motors in it. But they also don't want you to plug chargers in. So if you are trying to charge your cell phone or your laptop, evidently they don't want you using it for that. But remember, it comes with a built-in USB charger. So for charging your phone, your laptop, and so forth, you should be okay. Now, it does say it's okay to use with things like floor lamps and alarm clocks and stuff like that, even computers and printers. So that's great news, right? And it's important because when you look at this, while it's great it has 2 plugs, keep in mind that this is going to be up against the wall. So if you tried to plug one of those wall power adapters in and it's wider than the width of this, it won't work. So it pretty much keeps you from plugging in the wrong things, or at least gives it a good shot at not being plugged in wrong. But again, make sure you follow what's here in the directions on what to use and what not to use with this double plug. So that's the double plug. Really happy with it. It is kind of cool when we installed it. You actually end up, these things light up, they give different color, and they actually give different color depending on how much power is being consumed, because this is limited to 10 amps of power consumption for things that are plugged into it. We also installed the S2 Dimmer Switch and the S2 on-off switch. Now these are in-wall installations, so it takes some wiring. So if you're not electrically inclined or you're not sure you want to do this yourself, we do recommend you hire an electrician to do the work. In our case, we've done enough of these where we felt comfortable doing it. Now, what was interesting about this is, recall, in their directions, they give you a couple of diagrams, like this is option 1, this is option 2, and we had to figure out which one of the options we had. So in our case, it turned out to be option 2. So we followed their directions. They show you where all the wires go on both switches. So for example, our case, the dimmer switch is not a single dimmer switch, it's actually in a 3-way circuit. So we had both the dimmer switch and we had the secondary switch to turn the light on and off. So we follow the option 2 directions. It shows you what your diagram or what your wiring should be like before and what your wiring should be like afterwards. So we went and followed the directions. They're very clear. And first thing we did, of course, remove the wall plate. Then we took out the switches, so we had to take a look. In our case, it was in a double gang box. That just meant there was 2 wall switches in there. We took them out, we took a look at the one that was our dimmer switch, and we were able to easily identify the wires in there. And what's important here is that you identify which one's the line wire, because that one there has to go in the line wire spot on the Zooz dimmer switch. So when you look at it, you take a look at the wires, mark the line wire with something like we did with a little piece of black electrical tape so we know it was a line wire. Now, remember, when you're working with this stuff, make sure that you've turned off the power at the power box, right? Make sure you shut the breaker off. You don't want to take any chances with live wires. So now we've marked the switch, the line wire with the black tape, and then we removed the wires. So we removed all the wires from that switch, and now they're nicely marked, right? There's the black wire with the black tape, that's our line wire. There's another black wire without tape, that one there is the load wire, that's what's running the lights. Then there's a red wire for traveler, and there's a white wire for neutral. Now we have to hook them up. So one of the things we did is we took the white wire piece that they gave us in the box, and we hooked it to the white wires inside the junction box. That allowed us to be able to hook the white wire onto the Zooz switch. And now we took the Zooz switch, we put the white wire in the neutral, the red in the traveler spot, we put the black wire with the tape on it on line, and we took the black wire without tape on it in load. Once we got that all installed, then we just took those switches and we had to put them back in the wall. Now, before we put it in the wall, because there's 2 switches in there, there's little tabs on the side of the switch. We had to remove on one side, remove the tabs, and you just take a pliers and you wiggle them a little bit and those tabs will come right off. Once we did that, we stuffed the switches back in the box, making sure we didn't pinch any wires. And you'll notice in the diagram here that the switches fit nicely together because we removed the tabs on the common side. So they fit nicely in the box. We then put the wall plate back on, and now we're going to install the dimmer switch onto our Wink hub. Now when we do this, go to the home screen of your Wink app. But instead of using the normal method for including new devices called the plus key, we're not going to do that. And the reason why is Zooz doesn't have an item listed under Wink's list of devices. However, not a problem. Just press the hub. So you remember on the screen you have hubs. Press the screen for the hub. Your hub will show up here. If you click on it, it'll show you all the devices you have connected to your hub. And if you click on this gear icon, it'll show you your hub. And then you again press that button, and now it'll bring up a screen. And on this screen, there's a set of tools, one of which is ZWave. So you press the ZWave one, and it brings up the screen with a bunch of ZWave tools. Now, when you do this, you're going to want to press the inclusion button. It'll turn on the hub so that it will find any new devices in the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the inclusion button, and then what will happen is it will say success. And all that success means is it's successfully taken the command at the Wink hub. It is now looking for any switches to see if they need to be included. So now what you do is you go over to your Zooz switch, you press the top of the rocker switch 3 times, and the switch will then start pairing with the Wink hub. Once that pairing occurs, you should see a message come up if you have an Amazon Alexa on the top of your screen notifying you that a light bulb was discovered. Right? Now, if you don't have an Alexa or an Amazon Echo, you won't see that notification. So just wait about a minute or two just to make sure that the switch was included in the Wink hub. Once you've done that, go back to the home screen and then go to the lights screen, right, where all your light bulbs are listed. Scan through that list, and what you'll find is an icon that just says light bulb. When you see light bulb, long press the light bulb. It'll bring up an edit screen. You press the edit, you rename the switch to what you want it to be, and then once you've done that rename, go back to the lights again, and you should see now your light has been changed from light bulb to the name you gave it. And it's done. Now, the next step, of course, is you want it to work with Alexa. So the next thing is all you have to do is say, hey, Alexa, discover devices. And what will happen is it will discover the device. It will put the device into your Alexa with the name you gave it. And now you can totally control that light switch just by calling Alexa and asking Alexa to do the work. So that was pretty easy, went very, very fast, and they work great, totally controllable by both Alexa as well as manually, of course, with a switch or in the Wink app itself. And that's it. Nice devices. The S2 Double Plug was easy to install. The installation was the same thing that you just saw for Wink. The on-off switch, we also installed that. That installation went just the same as the dimmer switch. So all 3 are now installed in our home, and they work just fine either through Alexa or through the Wink app. Thank you for watching our video today. If you'd like to buy the Zooz switches, we have included links to Amazon in the description below. To watch more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit appmyhome.com for more smart home technology stories. Thank you very much.